Moving on, we have TrinkTimer. So TrinkTimer is something really neat. I have it here, so on my left and the right side of the frame we have it on, and you see here these plus and the minus. Now, just like with ship control, plus plus means it's ready for use, there's no cooldown. So what happens here is you have a trinket, yeah, and the trinket is like the same for free to play as well as for pay to play. And whenever you use an ability, you have a chance of, in this trinket's case, a 50% chance that it's gonna proc, that your proficiency goes increased by 200, blah blah blah. But the point on this add-on is that there's a chance to proc, and that's the thing that it wants to show, the cooldown after it's procced. Because the cooldown is 1 minute, but the cooldown doesn't show on the trinket. So when it procs, you will see, you can put the trinket somewhere, for example, because people you can activate it and have the cooldown, but it doesn't really trigger. That's the thing. The cooldown is really for the visual effect, which I just did, but it's not for the effect, the actual effect of this trinket. For example, when we simply do attack, for every ability, there we go, we got trinket going on, and now you see also the cooldown going. So the cooldown is exactly 1 minute. So the moment the trinket procs, it's gonna count down 1 minute. You can see the cooldown with the trinket itself is not synced up because it's not the same cooldown. The cooldown the trinket is showing is simply for the visual when you click it. The cooldown that the add-on is showing is the actual cooldown of your buff, which is what really matters. So I don't know what the game was trying with this, even what the developers were thinking, but this add-on fixes this problem. The same applies for the defensive. So every time you take damage, you have also a 15% chance that it procs, that you gain 200 more vitality. That's really what it does. And then it shows this one. I mean, it's a bit less important to know about this one. More important is for this one, because imagine it's doing countdown now and you're doing PvP with somebody and you see, oh, it's 10 seconds until my trinkets of cooldown. Let's hold my burst. And you hold your burst, 5 more seconds. You focus on your defenses, blah 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 blah. Okay, your trinket is ready, you just wait now until it's gonna proc, you keep doing abilities. So for every single ability you do, there's another chance that it procs. There we go, proc, bam, burst, and you go. So this add-on is really helpful to keep track of your burst when it's gonna be popping up, so you can time and plan your ability. That's really what this add-on is doing. Really handy. I recall you can change the function of these add-ons. So what I did, I believe, or what I used to do, so you have the shell abilities, right? Here, this one, opportunist augmentations. It's like the same thing. Every time you inflict damage, you have a 25% chance to gain an effect, increases your damage by 80.9% for 10 seconds. Can be triggered every 65.03 seconds. That's like the same thing. You don't have anything to track the cooldown on this, except you have this one. So in the config files, you can change this timer thing to this name, and then it's gonna track the cooldown as well for this, which means you basically have 2 offensive cooldowns, which is really cool. You get me? Catch my drift? So that's really what this add-on does. It tracks like invisible buffs that the game doesn't show their cooldown from, but you know the cooldown thanks to this add-on, and that's why I have them here, so I can quickly track my cooldowns. And I think I do have it on opportunist augmentation. So that is TrinkTimer, guys.